So we knew very well, say, yeah, the bargain, Sihua, and people for about 2 months. The only hindrance was that you free election. And that's why we insisted, they said, a secret ballot. The secret ballot, going into the booth is secrecy. Coming out of the booth, or the chra, it doesn't make it secret again. And Tokone see kakrani now was that my boot all right, a secret all right, but me we my show actually say my tuni say that is amounting to intimidation and forcing somebody to do the any kinds of head. Oh yeah. But when the writing was insisted on and G2 more the year one, but when one convincingly and so a matter of not democracy, because them people before they didn't want the democracy. So can be before Nkwa they are more pay, they will force themselves onto Ghanaians. But you see, how long can you be a dictator under a democratic dispensation? Because under democratic dispensations, unfortunately, we cannot be so much confident in the judiciary we have now. Not the judiciary, all round, but a stropano. And so when people before they do and say court. You see, when your accuser can't say court, then it means that they be any papa na judge, I mean, walk to watch, clearly say we are there. Was watch me say we are there cry for me call Kumasi High Court 3. One class actually court to cry what's away day. It means that it doesn't papa ne ma me ne yere na damfo. And a judge, so when you go there, I will not say tonight. So when you have confidence in the judicial system, when you have confidence in all the sectors of the economy, then democracy can be said to be thriving. But and another Danko Akufo-Addo, on himself was fairly totally. And now Matisse said, "Babo, caretaker, ministers. Monzo Gakuba could defend you, baby. So I'm trying to let them say caretaker. Why should a government that is continuing have difficulties in announcing ministers for?
Maybe say Emedin Kakramenti Honasa say president now seeking re-election. At least also the apprentice plan B, contingency plan. Say we know ma misu yin na me no take over na mo abo aben mu pen yedu sabre ana de na man ye din se e bebo obi din se won kwa
na do Danko Akufo-Addo nim se wan wen election me nim se wa hu se my story bi wa bontin am say he is only ruling for 42 days and na do nanka se nim se the written assignment na o mo de ma Jamin Samano eko ready you know you see a presentation so go school sometimes say group presentations. Okay, group presentation. Mostly, I participate. I mean, the brilliant ones, and I saw more time. No, why?
When you have break max, you know.
No, why? But Uber who no my pay will be to say me while so and honorable presenting it. Presenting it will not be a problem for me. But where you have a difficulty, and it's our present here when you Musa question. So Jamin says presentation is not difficult. But questioner Chachuchi Kata Tony later or whoever will lead the NDC's legal team Bebusa Jamin say, can you do that simple calculation on live TV? Will be the problem. We will expose Jamin as to say on the true verdict, and I know on the head and a true. So Nanado himself knows that in 42 days, won't mean your president and appointing people now. Well, also by that time, that ministers need to be crowned swearing in. You see, in the line of duty, you use the January to make your appointment. Parliament best fix a date for vetting, somewhere ending, depending on time of ball, ending through February. Before you can assume your duty as a minister, just ya swear in. The swear in we are. There will be some 1-2 weeks for the ministers to settle down because per Yemrano, it means that the deputy minister is appointed in consultation with the minister. And your minister should be aware.
Okay.
So there are some ministers they opposed to Nipebia ye de na ebre no what say o the asumesi beba ne deputy so there be mempe obi okra so no lobby for asumesi say fa no bra me because of a certain working relationship and deputy ministers obepɛ mu a mostly appointments ne ba in April. Then they are sworn in May.
Okay.
And so when you full ministerial composition. Court case is where we by March ending. Now, a friend is saying by March, February, March, by middle of March. Now, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo will not be a president again. Now, the Ghana Electoral Commission or whoever will be in charge. So you should understand the difficulty of Nana saying that Nkrofo being taking over. They are only going to take care of proceedings till the court in the bed about an announcement. And it is you have a ministry. So if it's even about cutting it down, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo also about cutting the ministers down, not the threat from the majority now in parliament, that is the NDC. Or cutting. Ghana phone in our Kasabebre say 125 elephant-sized government in MY. So you should know which ministries are by now merge. Which ministries are from completely. Mati says Zongo ministry has been scrapped. That would be the biggest disappointment of me. And I'm a Ghana phone in our. So if the ministry for Zongo be through, then we'll ask the question: has the Zongos been developed fully? Because you come in there, set up a ministry for Zongo, say because we saw they confuse the minds of the Zongo people. See a bit developing. We say Zongo no developing a sign. You see, last time Brian will be before from. The catcher will say, how would you develop a Zongo? You see, baby a Zongo will be ano. It is enclosed.
Yes, see honey.
Yes, see a ye croix ye tiso. And yama a certain particular area. And as uncle, ye de yen yanuma den ediago. Ubehumuno na ye sia kata omuni na. So when you go to Abu Seseya, when you go to Aswansi Seseya, if you want to do a community center Seseya, old one na was ubugu na san den. Usi foforo. If pa na obenya asase to want to develop. So when they were talking about Zongo ministry and developing the Zongos, I was rather of the view say ebia ye kwakwaji asase foforo and do a relocation of the Zongos. What has in about Abu Zongo. Now see okay, Abu Zongo phone ni na ya move mu ni na mo dem ko tech. Achire ho asase kakraka ho ya sidan ya demarcating ya yi lines they are tum e wo ho no ma. Then we call developing the Zongos. Make I say ye kwa kwesi school e wo every Zongo. The school no be sin wo himfa. Where would you put the school in the Zongos? Because school for future development. And that is why ye school land about 10 acres or more. Because school no ebenyini, and as it's growing, development will take a shape. Eti oba ye Zongo sunumwa Zongo ben pan wo Ghana has a sea for Kumasi ha albenya 1 acre of land that hokwa you bet me dia and you cannot put a school building on 1 acre of land so they didn't know what they were talking about. But and if unfortunately Supreme Court for say now upon all the evidence available almost say Nana Danko Akufo-Addo the illegitimate president on Koswa no wantina yeswa. You see a disaster for them to say Zongo ministry no ya scrap no. Then the Zongos will now come to realization say now the one we were trying to find means of getting our vote, not thinking about ourselves.
Okay, alright, but that's now we shall say more take of any caretaker ministers. Ya upon Kroma or ha afi Mr. Dominic Niti will near lunch Martin Nomine and Bruce Derry Monique and Operator Mone Kandapanum. We a crater frame up already ban and Sunday and no crowns so aside the crater for Frabase. So board never was what it commissions, you know. The president will reconstitute those boards in due course.
Time on you. I've just told you, see, Ofori, man, how? Now, do say in 42 days he will not be president. You own Russian, yeah, idea. I've just told you, Madame Fubia, no, say, or pet minister, meaning school. And I'm saying, "Man, pray home pay minister because I'm very too important. You see, but unfortunately, the MPP are so confident. So Supreme Court in a choir, but two at the end they are not looking at the merits of the petitioner and this Diakono. They just feel that there is no way Addo appointed 11 Supreme Court judges, emu 7 and 9. And the court say Supreme Court judges, that's a normal 16 or more honomono, a moon 9 or 7. Said the last one was 9, right? So it was 5-4. So 9, 16. When you take 9 from 16, you have 5. It means that there is no way an Addo's appointees now what do you Mako Supreme Court no a mu 3 or 4 and can the petition and they are confident to say they will throw away the matter. You see, it's not that simple. Looking at the quantum of evidence and this because I'm catching it's a simple thing. When you get the lawyers of the NDC, try and go and learn from them. Be a lawyer. NDC for we as NDC know very well say the evidence suggests that Nana Addo won the election. It suggests that the NDC won the election. But the court to say okay, these are evidence, but we read I think 0.7 or so. I catch us about 30 constituencies. They are party a year vote. It's in our petition. Says at the end, they are no cry Juma. Then there is no need for a rerun. A straight victory for John Mahama. But say they are no cockotena house court in here. The court will have an easy room to operate. The reason is that if afraid in men's ababetenase near so okay hano where one sign then one ma a flimsy excuse be na court na gina so the old momo can so kaisen another call Norway or something can say the compilation of new voters register no is in the can make sense. I think me no cry a discussion because you say Nana Addo has insulted the sensibilities of Ghanaians because Nipa Anek as a civil society organization at one point in about 13 or so civil society organizations Nina coming out to say at the end yenya so for Pentecostal Council for say their CSOs and political parties in Ekano mun consider but Nana Addo stood in Norway wanya na Ghana Norway no kokoye say EC no the no it makes sense and so they will abide by what the EC is doing. The same thing in Supreme Court Babeka say we must have case near but EC no looks like or no handle at the no at all the so the NDC decided say no the EC's own declaration they said they make and then I have done the tabulation myself figure no Nana Addo Danko Akufo-Addo EC ne the man 6.7 million divided by 13.4 even the 13.4 times the 100 a more of 50.09% and more 51%. So when you add the Techiman South figure no at that time na is in Fanka hono at the Ekanwa then Nana Addo drops to 49.1 somewhere. You cannot be a president of Ghana without 50 plus 1 and so Nana Addo cannot be president and Nana Addo and Crawford themselves knows say the tabulation, a Supreme Court, no matter how hard, no matter how strong, no matter your conviction as far as MPP are concerned, the EC will do the tabulation. Will do 50 plus 1. Court has no right or has no power or whatsoever to say so be declare Nana Addo winner. And so Nana Addo with difficulty. To remember some we are taking over. But you see, let me state it again. This is an error as far as good governance is concerned. The reason is that, to say at this particular moment, the chief directors of the ministries and they handle a ministry. Every other person within the ministry falls under the chief director. So, you're both minister, then the minister becomes the final approving authority.
Okay.
So Nanado or Russia emanitus omunya den omunhwe diem.
Directive for them more say more taking major decisions.
You cannot. There is a transitional act passed by the NDC the year Juma yes say ya. So as at now, the ministries no omo a mandate. They have a mandate. Omo limit bia. They cannot commit the government. Omuntimi nkonkwaji loan in the name of government nearly. But the running of the ministry, don't forget that as we speak now, the budget runs up until March or somewhere. So what I say, and so you approve budget, the monies are there. The ministries can run without the ministers. So the Antinanado say or boss uncle, it's confusing. You don't understand it. Wait till court to be here the case. Yabaka to a ban for and Tessa there start bringing in your appointees. Let them go through vetting and let us see what will happen. Yeah. But again, and also bet me another means of buying time. We say the majority in parliament today, that is the NDC side, have sent a signal. The signal is that Kofona audio they will go through straight. You see, the NDC, the democracy here, Juma. So TO now we boycotted the swearing in Yanko. And we should have boycotted the vetting. Yes, I know the vetting. Because vetting is not only to approve, but also to disapprove. And it will improve one hour also what you more back for vetting. If unfortunately you should win the court case and still continue as president. We the NDC, we are ready to sit. They said the meme call vetting. MPP ni bi antinam. It was only NDC because almost the case now then court. So my vetting there wasn't any MPP person to ask me a question. Yeah, dear, you see a betting. Now do ni panwaba. O de unia finance minister and now the naba. What in the basso a bebusano. COVID-19 $1 billion sikano e buy yes, so umbra parliament no make chiri was so umba parliament this vetting you cannot say you come and you answer to Ghanaians as to how come ubeba no ba Ghanaians as to how come Crow and Associates etimi $1 million edi kwa na nunti say dom level nkonkwo tena fie because he auditing that account. You will come to face the vetting committee and you will explain all these things. I can assure you some people will go to vetting did the whole day and I make a show. And that is why so Nanado is buying time now. If Niti I perform so well at the Ministry of Defense, what is the barrier until Nanado cannot appoint and say Nitiwul is a minister designate for if Ambrose Derry will perform so well our interior. Then the man Nanado actually say caretaker at the one easily know or the no but all the ministers they have all failed. Ambrose Derry, my uncle is a respected person, will be respected, but he has failed. You know why he has failed? Ambrose Derry was unable to handle the vigilante menace in the MPP. That alone, because don't forget that at certain point, Obabontinse went to me and stop Oma, he will resign. Which he didn't, because when Timmy and stop Oma up till today, to the point that some of them can pick a gun and shoot at protesters. Nemum say Carlos Ahinkra, the chief vigilante, Echo Chill ballot or idea. One, you see, as I am because let me give you understand. On the day of the election of or swearing in of parliament, Ghana's biggest day of shame. Not only Ahinkra Okoria ballot papers rule. That act alone, I have said Ahinkra by now also prison. He should have been arrested. He should be prosecuted. He should be sacked as a minister. There should be a by-election in one area. I'm glad sending Crawford doing in the constituency or more petitions for him to be. But that's right. But it is an act that is a criminal act because the vigilante and offenses, related offenses bill now or no ankasa no member of parliament near passy says that when you snatch a ballot box, a ballot paper, it's a criminal offense. You will come for about 7 months. And somebody, MPP executive, no, Kwaji is saying, it's in sales asset now. How different is Ahinkra? Ahinkra, the MPP for no, MPP law, no, Ghana will be very interesting within the next week at the Accord. But they are not too home. On the day of swearing, you saw the military that entered
Parliament.
Parliament, you know. That is the worst of, and I'm surprised that Besine, as of now, are still watching Animals Kingdom.
Me am shi me obra na me hwe no anadwene nyina ya na ne pese hu de besi na no panya mboa ya ba nya bia kanti me hu sa no ka pese me tuka kura ko me kura se me se ku asiga no
no cool here. I say just that the military who went in there, Ebia were not prepared for that. If you have learned security a little, go and say that day, no, Ghana was finished. In your attempt to want to bulldoze security, democracy, no, at that time we had no president. At that time we had no president. And the military now, and they were led by a lieutenant colonel of the Ghana Armed Forces. Sani pano, omura muwi enwano, enwadi tuosi. A two no mukrano parliament is a gate ho. So the time they entered no more local all exit routes our parliament and what did to see the chief justice so say swear me in as the president that day no anka
that time is not chief justice to
the chief justice is there the person who will swear in the speaker of parliament to swear to bring president for him to swear so all that they needed to do at that time, that material time, was just for the speaker of the chief justice to say your oath or swear or your oath to he has taken over completely.
Chief justice no sorry free hoko
at that time. So if omoye no ko motinase no plan kakra no mo wa bontin so just na wa bontin no ye kakra and that is all on Ghana no ano no kabana gaku den and I see what kind of at the end you do your minds and I'm saying that again still as often they are quiet. So what to say Obia Kasao they catch them. You see, when I make reference to these people, I am making reference. There's one thing put it here again. Somebody no more advisory EC advisory body no more
committee of eminent advisors. I'm short to nom.
I'm short. Professor Mante. So okay. More because the Akos Wababe say have they do money share do muscle tea. Omofi say easy no ni lessons no no is it correct, is it okay, is it that what is it
is it adeba kwa Ghana in the coming days they said you can my din who say previously say ye nominate obi na okovet na ya na ban na party no wa ben mu na nipa dose or parliament committees ahudu nyina ya na aban nipa dose. It is a minority nipo omo sorry pio omo sorry pio yan form ho ye be approve nipa no but say nipa na ye pepe committees ni na likely say membership no betumi aye pepe nti say obia can build the consensus in the context of what say enye kura consensus nti enye ntumu ana say de ho no mentias ye be yi ye betumi build the consensus sa e wo man mu.
What is consensus? Consensus ni de brofo na wo kan ase ne say nipa na ye de no aba no or corrupt. For instance ajaku ne vetting there was an allegation so we maska for an approval because any questions are ibusa or ajaku his dealings in the United States of America bank being once and cents and so on was clear that Parliament will not approve him. Finally, the floor of Parliament to work. Today cannot be possible. Obansua, yang approve just because MPP for he will be taken to strict scrutiny. Ghana phone who said the best is what we are going to present. until interesting times ahead, like we are saying. Now, now the boost your phone so the mobile pass so the answer messy pa. Umba semisi pa.
Azemo.
Because Bonnie akosu Ghana ni na Chrono akosu Ghana ni na 90% if the Nado boost your phone. There are some ministers who are so very arrogant. The word arrogant, very arrogant. Almost so they should pray that they don't have their way to parliament, because this time around you cannot avoid the questions. Because avoid the questions, now when to me answer now you see Fambra the floor of parliament na member to Oswaba, your likelihood that you will not be able to.
So about one crowd, you be able to try so be avoid it, because speaker the crowd the cover say na minister I nominate you the
and remember said the speaker of parliament who went through or is a speaker today because of secret ballot will always abide by that rules of making any competitive elections be on the floor of parliament as a secret ballot.
As we see, I never consider making a whole crown and say a cocoba say a bind the agreement to be ba na I was a parliament to swaba na ebia technically no and funny say honorable Babin am right honorable Babin ama for whatever reason ama na yes you are saying concordant technical legends NPP so short to nipa bako.
No, but okay, that is you are using the current state. But in 1, 2, 3 months to come, our narrative a bit changing because a number of seats. For instance, the Techiman seat, there is no way the MPP won that seat. The NDC won it. Yeah, they are court for court to sit down. So you say I'm a Woody, and the Supreme Court didn't say I'm a member of parliament. The Supreme Court only said they say injunction acha today tono so say manemba swearing in. That injunction na expire. Enti they na also pay a renewal hono court ne say there be. Young court swearing in. If you we are case ni anya den. The case ni so and the people of SAR can they have the numbers to make a declaration. They cannot stay out because as we speak now, there's nothing on the floor of parliament. Constituency. Then two constituency so they are. And Mrabia in Ghana cannot prevent them from unless they themselves decide say but now that they are serious that they will vote. They will go and vote. They vote too. Who cannot be president this thing who we are no the Savlugu or Zabzugu or whatever Zabzugu constituency 81 polling stations. Okay, 41 I say MPP ni now anyway. There are still 40 polling stations that were not counted. Yes, MPP ni there no way. So there are a number of them. The Takwansi Asikado Nini now and the NDC have challenged all these things. So the narrative will turn. But in any case, per the question now, I'm saying that the unfortunately, Nanado will not be president to me but let's just give him the benefit of the doubt to say as a president as it stands now. Nanado cannot bring any law into parliament again. This time what the law neighbor, you cannot just come in and bring any tell you say me scrap a university council bill no sorry now also whatever a Japan bill no sorry now whatever no. And the minds of the young people will have to think very well before they bring any bill to parliament as it stands now.
Yeah, some more. Now, no, I was sad. You funny say, ye kwa kotoa beti for na adishia omo bantima, meka bantima brono, omo ado ato, omo adumenu, omo swami kotoko hono. Na omo nyina omo antoa befi say, ye nim se omo bantima constituency anase, ye nim se bi omo swami constituency a. Ebi so anka adishia nyina kotu bia. Anka ombetimi a make difference o baby. Tidi entina say bia deliberately say bia oversight o. Say a entina
deliberate. You see tie per the constituency no for no na the NDC candidate no then free. So they sat down and realized say Amawu's dominance Hohoe township no was so and Hong Kong they are with Nipa buses over 70 fully loaded buses from Accra and Kwan to so Amawu is able to gather all travelers of Hohoe at the free that buses it be for 70 it be for 50 Kabum the number of people Amawu transported from that side Dubai. So Omutrans here who said South one and Tuabanoa Amawu can win that so they waited until an hours to the election and here so the obet me about oba ballot paper no mawa na why nemum yen kote parliamentary nyeden emfa
eno kro mo twen ye koto abadwo ada no kosi ade na nwumre
said American hours to the election and omo baka say oba ye bet so bebre na akra do mo hu okoduru ho no to aba no a na ya te presidential ama no koto wie o parliamentary a ya se da bi hold on how they want me to be in the next time. You see, technically, the NDC parliamentary candidate on to me Njina Hohoi because of Frisa that area and inti Sanka Sam ran on the year you mama win a cry any law to go by. Nanka was Senka Hona and Kaumano, your man in your day, your man instant. You say so okay, war cry you cannot contest that, but you one man not contest. So in this instance, you know, say if unfortunately or when here and or represent people that she shouldn't be.
And say represented.
So I don't think about one can say okay, you say woman we are not qualified to contest in that area. Now man contested. Meanwhile, the baby I no free no it doesn't make sense. So you should also know that Amawu say our parliament they only worked their way outside of a bar MP before we get a speaker of parliament because speaker of parliament you here answer na parliament bit me you a free so you need 2/3 of parliament. 2/3 of parliament per the calculation you need about more than 160 or so members to be able to do that. Until Obia Ebeyi ni bia no. Just only 2/3. Just a house need now come together and say we want to do that. So they needed it. But unfortunately for them, fortunately for Ghana for Yankopon actually to me say Chrono course where election no couldn't go on the floor of parliament. But again, fortunately for Ghana for there is a Supreme Court. Even though Supreme Court, people may not have that confidence in the Supreme Court, there is also another evidence. I mean, tangible evidence. Evidence are so strong that Supreme Court, say, oh, Nanado, ne Rebecca, and Samira Baumia, and Ramatu Baumia, Munina, ne judges ever Hokrano. They cannot rule in favor of the EC and another Danko Akufo. The evidence is so strong here.
All right, Honorable Pacho, in a minute, you'll wrap up, Mamina, Yes, Messiah Boa Basso. You see, if you're best sorry, whom change, just come and sit on your show. It tells you that, oh, yeah, Juma. And Yamin Koswana, wow.